I'm satisfied in my crack and eager for more. That's the optimum creative balance. In other words, I know that there's more for me, but I'm not worried about anything. I'm not upset that it hasn't come. I know it's coming, and I'm just interested about how it's going to unfold. In what way is the universe going to rendezvous others? Because you see, universal forces know what everybody wants and know the best way to dovetail everybody with everybody. So there is this stream or current of probable events that's unfolding for you. So here you are, you've been asking for stuff. Let's say money, just because that's the strongest vibe we feel, not just in this room, but in every room. You want money, you want lovers, and you want bodily conditions. And aside from that, so your life experiences caused you to ask for more dollars. And you are right now in this moment having a vibrational response to the idea of dollars. If you're worried about them, then you're a vibrational far cry from this vibrational escrow that's over there waiting for you. If you are eager about dollars, then you're right there and they're flowing rather easily for you. If you're angry about dollars, they're making their way to you the hard way. If you are in despair about dollars, they're not coming at all. If you are hopeful about dollars, they're flowing in. You'd like it to be more, but they're flowing in. If you're believing that anything that you want flows to you, then the dollars are flowing comfortably. And the only thing that you need to speed the flow is more stimulation, which causes you to launch more rockets. In other words, the money that flows to you, the money that shows up in your bank account, so to speak, is controlled by only two factors. The stimulation that you are living, which causes you to throw more things over there into vibrational escrow. Didn't know I wanted a yacht till I saw one. Didn't know I wanted a gorgeous home on the hillside in Sedona until I saw one. So whatever your exposure to experience is doing for you, you're launching those rockets. So that's one factor that is controlling the money that goes into your bank account. The other factor is, how do I feel when I approach the subject of money? So I pick up the newspaper or the magazine that's in my sleeping room, and I begin looking at the real estate in Sedona. And I am knocked over by the beauty of so much that I see. And then I hear that real estate prices have doubled in the last year in Sedona. And then I complain because I was here last year. I could have bought the house last year. Now, the magazine and the tour that my friends took me on caused me to launch a powerful rocket of desire. But now I'm grumbling about nothing's worth this price. I'm separating myself from what I'm asking for. And what we're wanting you to understand is, you speak as if there is a quantifiable, limited amount of money that's coming to you. You don't get it yet so often that your desire has put it over there in vibrational escrow for you. It's not a matter of how much money you have right now. The new desire is summoning the new money if you will let it. That's how the new money, the new boyfriend, the new everything gets into your experience. The lack of it causes you to ask for it, and Source says, all righty then. Really? Ask and it is given. Someone should write a book and call it that. Ask and it is given. So now all you've got to do is find some way of moving yourself closer and closer into vibrational alignment with this thing that you're asking for, which means you got to be optimistic in your crack. You got to be positive feeling. And if you can't be optimistic, then be the closest thing to optimistic that you can be. So let's say, what's the closest thing to optimistic that I can be? Well, mad. It's as close as I can get. I was here last year. I looked at houses. I found one I really wanted. My husband said, let's wait a while. And now they've doubled in price. So that ornery is as close as I can be to optimistic. Well, now you know what your work is. Your work is to find some way of soothing this resistance. And do you know that when you soothe resistance, you always feel relief? So let's talk about this emotional scale and the process of soothing resistance. So the emotional scale is like this. On one end of it are really good feeling emotions like love and passion, appreciation. On the other end of it are not good feeling emotions like despair, depression. On the good feeling end is your perception of utter empowerment and freedom. On the not good feeling end is your perception of disempowerment. Now, can't you feel that is true when you think about it yourself? Can't you feel that when you're afraid or when you're feeling fear, when you are depressed, can't you feel your perception of absolute powerlessness? Couldn't you say and be accurate that emotions, the sliding scale of emotions, are all about disempowerment, empowerment? Well, that's what it is. Here you are as leading edge creators. Do you get that? You are extensions of source energy. So you are God, if you will. Source is what we like to call you, in physical bodies on the leading edge of creation. You're not here as inferior beings trying to catch up with this heavenly God. You are this heavenly God in this heavenly body here on planet Earth in this leading edge time-space reality. And you are so understood to be so in this leading edge place that when your contrast causes a preference to be born within you, source energy is so sure that you are the right one to make that call that source says instantly yes to any preference that is born within you. Do you understand that that's how all species evolve? What could be better than the one-celled amoeba in the ocean having its experience and having a preference be born? Now, we promise you that from your human genius perspective, you couldn't even begin to relate to the experience that the one-celled amoeba is having. But the one-celled amoeba is having an experience, and it is giving birth to preferences, and when it does, source says yes, and because it does, it evolves. And so do you. All species evolve in just that way. And how could it be righter than that? In other words, who could choose better for you than you? Now, sometimes you say, oh, but what if I'm evil? What if I'm inappropriate? What if I'm unworthy? And we say, you can't be. You're not, no matter what. So whatever experience you're in, you're giving birth to a desire, and source is saying, you're the best one to know from where you stand, and we agree. And now we're saying to you, all you've got to do is you've got to bring yourself into agreement with what you ask for that source already agreed with. Jerry and Esther have navigational systems in their vehicles. And the premise is there are satellites in the sky and satellite dishes on their vehicles and a computer inside. And because of all of these contraptions, the system, Magellan in one case, Pioneer in another, OnStar in another, knows where they are at all times. So that one point of vibrational relativity is established. As soon as they turn the system on, the system knows where they are. And then they program in their desired destination. And then Magellan says, please proceed to the highlighted route. And Magellan has only one job, to direct them from where they are to where they say they want to go. Magellan never says, where have you been? It's not relevant. There are only 2 points of vibrational relativity. Where are you and where do you want to go? And as long as they follow the route that Magellan has advised, Magellan is very happy. But if they divert from the route, Magellan says, please proceed to the highlighted route. Please proceed to the highlighted route. Your guidance system does the same thing. Sometimes Magellan will say, when possible, make a legal U-turn. 2 points of vibrational relativity. Well, this is happening to you. Your contrast causes you to give birth to a desire that source immediately says yes to. Your destination is programmed. Now, where are you in relationship to it? You can tell by the way you feel, you see. So your emotions are like your Magellan. When you're ornery, your emotions are saying, please proceed to the highlighted route. When you're angry, your emotions are saying, please proceed to the highlighted route. And what happens so often is you use criteria other than proceeding to your highlighted route as your means of adjusting yourself. In other words, you use Things like whether it's interesting. Esther watched the presidential debates, for heaven's sakes. And we promise you, they didn't make her feel good, but she watched them because she wanted to be informed or she thought it was interesting. And we say, when you use any criteria other than, I want to feel as good as I can feel right now in this crack that I'm in between where I am and where I'm wanting to be, if you use any criteria, sometimes you use the criteria, well, it's true. It's true. It's a reality that I should face. And we say there are all kinds of things that are true that you do not want to replicate in your experience, and all kinds of things that are true that you want to. So the criteria can't be whether it's true or not. The criteria must be, how do I feel when I focus upon it? 99% of every creation is complete vibrationally before you begin to see physical evidence of it. But about 70% of it is complete before you begin to really feel hopeful. When you feel hopeful about something, it's so close to being done. Hopeful is such an indication that you're almost there. But ennui is an indication that you're not even halfway there. You get the sense of what we're talking about? So we want you to start making every journey an emotional journey rather than the action journey. That's the key. So it's not about whether I have my money or my lover or my improved bodily condition. It's how I feel about not having my money, not having my improved bodily condition, not having my lover. You have to find a way of separating what's happening right now, not enough money or a body that hurts or something that's absent that you want or something that's present that you don't want. You have to find a way of separating what's happening right now from how you feel about what's happening right now. And when you separate those two and then you do something about how you feel about it, now you're improving your vibration. Now you're closing that vibrational relativity. Now you're quantifying your journey. Now you're on the path going in the right direction. And now circumstances and events are going to start showing up for you because Source knows where all of the rendezvous points are. You've just got to get in the vibrational proximity of them. And it's happened to all of you many, many times. Haven't you ever had an impulse about something and you followed the impulse and it paid off in a very big way? That was you following the impulse of something that felt good, and Source Energy was leading you right to the rendezvous place that it knew was there. We're not kidding you. Those rendezvous places are known. You're not out there just flying blind. You've got a friend upstream that knows everything you want even better than you do, and everybody out there that will accommodate you and assist you and knows what the best probability of getting you to where you want to be the fastest is. And if you're following your bliss, then you're on your track. But sometimes you can't get a whiff of bliss, and that's the point that we're wanting to make. If you're in despair trying to follow your bliss, you're going to get discouraged. So we don't want you to be in despair following your bliss. We want you to follow your bliss, but we want you to stop off in revenge. Revenge feels a lot better than despair, doesn't it? So can't you acknowledge that it's in the right direction? If you were frustrated, we would never coach you into revenge. That's going the wrong way. But if you are in fear, or if you are in despair, we'll coach you into anger. We'll coach you even into rage if you can't jump all the way to anger. Anger might be too bright and fluffy for you from where you are. But we will coach you in the direction of what feels better. And when you feel the slightest bit of relief, that's your indication that you're releasing resistance. And every effort you make leaves you in a different vibrational stance where you have access to a whole set of circumstances. So now consider this. We're going to give you something you have not heard before, and you're just going to love this because we're going to spell out for you the way creation happens for you. So you lived something very different than what you want, which caused you to launch a big rocket of desire about what you do want. And Source says, you ought to know, we agree, it is done. It's there for you, waiting for you to vibrationally match it. But here you are, over here, in utter despair, not even close to that. So you've got a mix of vibrations somewhere between this desire that you want and this despair that you're feeling. And all over your world are probabilities that exactly match your mix of vibrations. But you've been to an Abraham seminar and you don't like despair and you're reaching for some relief. So you move into the revenge stage and you feel so much better. Now, when you felt like a victim over here, things were happening to you that made you feel even more like a victim.